Hello, I'm Deb Kais with Stampin' on the Hill. Are you up for a new challenge? I have a new card sketch challenge for you today. It's pretty simple, but it's got a few layers. Let's just jump down. You probably saw the actual sketch on Monday, but let me show it to you again. Okay, try it now. No, why is this not working? I don't want to remove it. I want it to go away. Let's try this. All right, that'll work. Sorry. This used to work like this. Very strange. Anyway, so the card challenge has it kind of looks different because you could use the same color, but you don't have to. And so I'm using an oval punch for mine. You could use any kind of punches. There's a hexagon punch that works well too. I've used that before. But it's fairly simple. You just punch out a bunch of stuff. And you could use the same color background layer as you do ovals layer. But I'll have all the instructions, or not the instructions, the cutting instructions, measurements on my blog. But let's jump into, see if this works. Aha! So we're going to be using 3 colors: Old Olive, Crushed Curry, and Blackberry Bliss. And I've got from last week that piece of cardstock that we had scored. If you missed that tip, go on back and watch it again. So we're gonna crease the score line there, and then I have let's work with the. Let me show you what I did first. This is going to be my layer, so it's just 1/4 of an inch smaller, so 4 by 5 1/4 than our card front there, and that's going to be our back layer. I ended up cutting this one larger just so that I have some to trim off, and you'll see why in a few minutes. All right, so we're going to also bring in our Etched Autumn, which is our monthly product that we are using this month. The stamp set is, I didn't realize how versatile it was when I bought it, but I'm loving it. So we're going to ink this up in Crushed Curry. Well, if I can open the pad, we will. There we go. All right, so let's bring this up here so you can see everything, and we'll ink this all up. Make sure we get it. You can't really see it very well on there. So, and then I did bring in just a piece of copy paper. You could use junk mail for sure. Don't throw it out. It's good for something, really. And I know that we're going to cut some of this off the edges, so I'm not real worried about the very edges of the sides and the top. I'm going to bring in a piece of just copy paper, and we're going to just give this a good rub. Make sure we got it all on there. Ooh, that's pretty. I love the tone on tone. That's one of my favorite things, I think. Especially when you're using like the background stamp. I really like it. All right, so I'm going to, just quickly a minute, I think, if I can get it to come back in, I'm going to bring back in the sketch so you can kind of see where I'm going to go with. Let's see if this works. Not really. Darn. Well, and you can see me small down here, but I'm going to start in this corner, okay? And I know you can see the sketch right now. I'm going to start in this corner, and I'm going to punch this one out like the sketch, and then like the sketch again, I'm going to kind of eyeball the top here with the top there, and punch again. And I'm going to leave these, have this go like this. I'm going to set them off to the side here. And I'm going to change the camera view around again, but I wanted to show you the way that I'm punching this. And then I'm going to bring in some scissors and cut some of the scrap away too. So let me take this part down and go back to seeing this full view here. But I wanted to give you an idea of what I was looking at as I was cutting this. So I'm going to continue to look at that while I'm cutting. So let's see, it goes like this. So then I have another one in the middle. So like here. That goes there. And then there's one on this side that went this way. Like that. And then the one on this side goes this way. That. And you'll notice I'm keeping them kind of in order the way that I had them. So instead of cutting this apart, I'm going to come in from the top to do the last two. That one. And this one goes this way. I'm just going to try and get as much of it in here as I can, knowing that I will be cutting off the edges. So that goes that way. All right, let me show you one more time. The sketch, maybe. There it is. So you can kind of see that my ovals that I cut out are like the sketch. All right, so what we're going to do with this is we're going to take some old olive ink. Again, I'm liking the tone on tone. So I just wanted to give the background of this a little looking texture. So I'm going to kind of just drag this across. I'm holding it fairly flat, not up on an angle too much like this. And you can see I gave it a little swirl because I was trying to miss my my ovals over here. Let's turn it around this way and go this way a little bit. I'm just lightly dragging it across. You can always add a little bit more if you feel like it needs a little bit more, but you can't take it off, so you might as well start light. All right, so that's going to be, clean up my mess. This glass mat is wonderful. Okay, except it's kind of squeaky. All right, so this is going to go onto here eventually, but what we're going to start to do is dry fit from the center out. So this is the center one. And then this is going to go, and I'm kind of dry fitting, knowing that I'm going to try to keep my spacing about the same between. And this is going to go here, give that little edge a little bit there. And then this is going to go here. That one was a whole one, it looks like, for the most part. That got to be whole. Huh, that's cool. All right. So then this is going to come off the edge of it. That's okay. And then this one's going to go up here. I kind of didn't want to see this little green corner, so I'm going to move it up a little bit, or maybe out a little bit. We'll see. Oh, out a little bit. It's going to work because I need to leave a little bit of space, a little bit more space in between those. So now that I'm got them all on here, I'm going to give them just a little adjustment to kind of get it. I'm not measuring. It doesn't matter how much space is really here in between, but I'm making it kind of look visually the same. And then what I'll do is I'll come in and I will start gluing them down. And I'm going to start with the center and put it right back the way I found it. So I'm kind of just, and I'm trying not to get the glue too far to the edge here. If I can. You saw the glue just work a second ago, didn't you? Jeez, oh, Pete. Because I knew it was hanging off, so I just wanted to make sure that I don't want to make a big glue mess on my mat. So about here, I'm using my fingernail to give me about a reference of where to put the glue. And you know, I don't need a ton of glue anyway, so it's all going to be fine with just a little bit. See down here. This was the one that was all the way on. This is the only one that's like all the way on. And then where was this one? It's going to go like this, right? So we've got about here and not all the way down because it's going to come off some off the bottom. And then these last two pieces, a little bit across the top that we don't need glue on. Oh, got a little extra glue. Let's suck it up. And last but not least, let's go here. I can still adjust these a little bit. I found that if you put just like way little glue on, it sticks faster. So if you give it a little more glue, you have a little bit more time to give it a little. Now you can come in here, give it a little extra wiggle. You can come in here and use your paper trimmer. And I think I'm going to just use my scissors. So I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to start here. And I'm using the green layer as a guide to know where to cut. And look at this. I'm actually didn't even put my glasses on. That's funny. Maybe because it's farther away, I can see better, huh? Usually for reading and everything, I have to wear these glasses. They're just cheaters, but you know. Okay. And there. So now that's what that looks like. Get our mess out of here, off the way. All right. And you can kind of see the little bit of texture that we added below here. Okay. I'm just going to glue this on, just flat, straight like this. With no hoopla. All right. There's that. I don't remember if I mentioned in this particular video when I did this, this is vanilla cardstock, the base is. All right. Then we're going to set this off a little bit. We're going to use some black. Oh, shoot. I forgot a step. Darn. So what I did in the sample was I used a Blackberry Bliss ink pad and a, oh shoot, what's it called? A sponge dauber. And I took each of those ovals and I went around them kind of like this. All right. And I put ink around the whole outside of each of them. I'll show you a finished sample. This one's going to look okay the way it is, but I kind of like the other. It gives it a little bit more depth. So I think I'll show you that in a second. And this one's going to be fine the way that it is. I'm going to put happy birthday on here. Straight down, straight back up. Perfect. And then I have another little tip for you. Didn't use that. I have another little tip. I just want to cut some angles, okay? But in order to get the angle here to match the angle on this side, let me show you. Doesn't matter what the first one is, okay? So we're just gonna angle it like this. And then I'm gonna take the piece that I cut off and set it over here on top of about where I want it, top of the H where I want it. And we'll turn it around and we'll use that as a guide, just like we did when we cut the edges of the, and then of course I got a little ink on something, so that's okay. We'll somehow figure out a way to cover that up. I went ahead and cut out some pieces. This is Cajun Craze. This is Old Olive, and this is from the Layers of Beauty dies. And I think I guess I'm going to put one on the front. Well, you know what? I can put a gem over that. Okay, so I'm going to start with let's see, the green and the big one of these, and then this one and that one. Let's do, add a little glue here and a little glue to this one. I'm going to add these at the bottom here. Kind of give them a little bit of a layer going on. Get them to stick to the paper and not to my fingers. With that little bit of glue, it kind of just does its own thing, doesn't it? Okay, then we're going to do kind of the same thing on these pieces. And these are going to go on the top. I don't want it to stick too far over to this side, but a little bit's okay. And then put this one in. I would really prefer to stick to my fingers than to the back of the label. All right. So we're going to take and put some glue dots behind there. And I'm just using some leftovers here. We're going to cut a couple here and a couple there. And we'll just take these off and put these on the back. Glue dots and glue dots. I'm sorry, these are dimensionals, not glue dots. And we're going to add this in here someplace. And then I have some, what are these called? These are adhesive-backed metallic gems. And of course, I find it just as simple to use my scissors as anything else. So we're going to cover up that little ink spot right there. And where else can we put a couple? Let's put a couple small ones up here. There. So there you have that. Oh, I was going to show you my other one where I had the, hold on, I got to get this glue off of here before I stick a card in it and it doesn't come back off. Okay, so here so you can see the difference. So when I had these all laying out over here on the side before I glued them in, even actually before I dry fit them to begin with, I used the sponge dauber and some ink, and I, just like I said, I went across, I don't have a piece of paper, we'll use this, but I went across each oval just like this, and then inked it up and just like this some more. So let me show you how to do that a second, because we'll do it with this scrap instead, but you'll get the idea if you don't already have it. All right, so we'll just tap, tap in the ink, and then just sort of go like this across. Yep. So then that's going to give it your depth. And I really do like that better. I'm sorry, I forgot to do that in this one. Okay. Let's get back to the brass tacks here. Now you know that because this is a challenge. If you take the challenge, I will put your name in a drawing. Everybody who posts their version of this particular sketch this month is going to be on November 14th. So if you make one of these with this sketch and take a picture of it and post it to Monday's sketch challenge graphic, post it as a comment in there. Out of all the people who post their photos, I'm going to put everybody's name in the hat or something, and I'm going to do a drawing, and you will win a 5-pack of cards from me. That's like a $20 value. And if you buy your cards from like your local drugstore or something, it's an even bigger value because those things are expensive. You can find the measurements. I will make sure that the measurements are posted on my blog, and I'll put a link to that in the description of this video. And if you want a written tutorial of this project, this one will be included in the monthly class as well as last week's. So the technique and the sketch are both usually part of the class. And then there are 2 other cards that are part of the class. So you'll get all 4 tutorials if you sign up for the monthly newsletter. So I mail them out. The newsletters get emailed the first week of the month on a Wednesday. So you have to be subscribed before I send it out in order to get this month. So I will send the October class tutorials the 1st of November. Did that make any sense? It did to me. Let's see. Anything else? Next week, we're going to do a little bit more scrapbooking. So feel free to join me for that. I'd love to hear your comments. If you're enjoying these videos, if you have something you'd like to see that I haven't covered. Anyway, I'd love to hear from you. Until then, next week, I will see you. Let's see. Yep. See you next week with scrapbooking. And until then, thanks for watching.